I'm Brenda Stedemeyer. I am a local student in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm also a mother, a vlogger, and my day job is a water remediation specialist, making dirty water safer and cleaner for the environment and human health. And today we are interviewing Dr. Hardy Limeback, who is a professor emeritus and former head of preventative dentistry from the University of Toronto. He was also the former president of the Canadian Association for Dental Research and co author of the U.S. National Research Council's 2006 review on fluoride in drinking water. Thank you, Dr. Hardy Limebeck, for joining us today. I have been a follower of your research for many years now, and I really appreciate everything that you've worked on in your life. I want to start with a question about the NRC report. You were one of the authors on the 2006 NRC report, basically done by the US government to review fluoride in the water. And they found there was many problems with EPA's current standards, and there was a lot of areas where we were missing research. Can you talk a little bit about what areas NRC said that we needed more research in back in 2006 and where we are today?
Thanks for having me. That was a thorough review, and it wasn't just on water fluoridation, it was on the entire fluoride toxicity literature. So we produced a 500-page book, basically, that anybody can download and read. And it's now literally 15 years old. It's probably way out of date, but we spent literally 3.5 years on this committee going through the entire literature on fluoride toxicity. And we did cover all the toxicity literature that we could find on water fluoridation, but it wasn't just water fluoridation, it was all of fluoride in humans and in animals. So you're asking me about what is missing today that we recommended. Well, we recommended from every chapter something that needed to be done that the literature was missing. There are several experiments that still needed to be done. We really focused on a lot of issues. The main ones that came up as a problem was dental fluorosis and skeletal fluorosis, because the EPA had said that 4 parts per million was their maximum level. So for fluoride, the MCLG was 4 parts per million for the EPA upper level. The rest of the world is actually 1.5 parts per million, or milligrams per liter. So all over the entire world, people consider 1.5 the maximum that human beings should be exposed to. And yet the Americans figure 4 parts per million is the maximum, and they're okay with it, even though we showed in our report that it causes skeletal problems and severe dental fluorosis. Those are the 2 main findings. But all the other chapters came up with all kinds of problems that we saw when people are exposed to levels even as low as 1 part per million in the drinking water. So we recommended all kinds of experiments that should be done on endocrine, cancer, diabetes. There are all kinds of areas that we covered, and we recommended more research on all of them. The one that has been very hot topic has been neurotoxicity. We saw some neurotoxicity even at 1 part per million in China, in other areas of the world, and that now has been studied really thoroughly and has been updated quite a bit because of new research.
What is the new research finding on neurotoxicity today?
Well, the National Toxicology Program has now done a thorough review of all the human studies looking at the neurotoxicity of fluoride. And it's not just drinking water, but it's neurotoxicity of fluoride from all sources. So the drinking water is the main source of fluoride that causes neurotoxicity. And it's not just artificial fluoridation, it's also natural fluoride. So if you have natural fluoride levels that are below 1.5, which is our maximum rest of the world, and it should be in America, any level below 1.5, dentists consider it harmless, since they feel they don't find any evidence of harm for the brain, developing brain. But now there's been research showing that prenatal fluoride exposure at levels of fluoridation has actually increased the problems in the offspring. It lowers the IQ, and it increases the level of ADHD.
So you promoted fluoride or you supported fluoride back in the day, in the beginning of your career?
Yeah, my whole life was teaching preventive dentistry, and the main ingredient for or the main active agent for preventing dental decay was fluoride. I mean, the entire International Association for Dental Research is based on fluoride research that started back in World War II. Now I think they should be doing more research in terms of fluoride toxicity and its harm. But of course, they've got a lot of money wrapped into fluoride research all these years.
So what kind of changed your mind from promoting fluoride for so many years?
Well, I was I was astounded when one of my former friends from when I was a child came into my office. She just happened to be living in my area, and she came into my office with a big binder and said, "I want you to read this." And it was basically research showing that fluoride was a toxic waste from the phosphate fertilizer industry. And I says, no, that can't be right. There's no way that they're putting toxic waste in the drinking water. They must be putting pharmaceutical fluoride in the drinking water. And I was floored. I said, this can't be right. So I did my own research and discovered, yeah, they are doing this. They're not testing it for safety. It's contaminated with arsenic and all kinds of heavy metals. And I thought, no, that can't, public health wouldn't do that. And sure enough, they've been doing it. And they've been doing it ever since we started fighting about this whole issue of using phosphate fertilizer. I've done it. I've given lectures. I've talked to councils all over North America, and there still seems to be this influence from dentistry to tell people, oh no, there's no problem in using this. It's perfectly safe. Once it's added to the water, it produces fluoride. That's good for you. Well, I'm sorry, but it's not good for you. It's harmful.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of criticisms have you received from coming out opposed to fluoridation?
My research career basically ground to a halt simply because I was publicly opposed to water fluoridation. And I ended up retiring early because I couldn't take the pressure anymore. I have a feeling that there are many fluoride researchers, many mineralized tissue researchers who know all about the harmful effects of fluoride, but don't want to speak out publicly that it is hurting human beings.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it did change my life. And I decided, well, I'll just continue working until I can retire. And then I retired early at age 60.
I hope you're enjoying your retirement. I really appreciate this today and thank you for taking the time to do this interview with me. And I hope the students get something out of it and I hope they share it with others. Is there anything you want to add before we close?
Well, thanks for giving me the opportunity of talking with you. I hope you have success in Wisconsin in educating people, because I'm really disappointed that the CDC continues to push water fluoridation all over America and continues to increase the exposure to Americans. It's really a shame that they don't look at the toxicity. We'd be all much better off if more people like you, as concerned moms, did the advocacy work and convinced the legislators that things do need to change. It's just that they're just so, I guess, used to saying it's safe and effective. Don't worry about it. Trust us. They don't like people telling them that they may have been wrong all along. So it's people like you that are helping the word get out. So really appreciate it.
Thank you.